I think what Paul Thomas Anderson is trying to do in The Master, Ben Stiller is doing in this movie, like with a comedy edge. Like that's what like where I'm like, damn, this is good filmmaking. I'm slightly joking, but I'm also slightly not.
With your best friends Trey, Sterling, and Matt, the film Schmucks.
Oh, what's up, guys? It's Film Schmucks. We're getting right into it. I gotta say, you know, we kid around about picks. We go, this is a good pick, this is a bad pick. Sometimes you watch a movie, you're disappointed. Sometimes you watch a movie, you're exhilarated. This week, Trey picked, I would say maybe not a classic, but a cult classic, Cable Guy. I think I barely remember seeing this movie back in the day, but sorry, should I just jump into mine? Cable Guy's the movie. I'll jump into it real quick. Great movie. I mean, I just have to say it. I couldn't remember if I liked or disliked this movie. I think when I was younger, I watched it when I was a kid. I grew up on Jim Carrey. You know, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. We played them all the time in my house. I loved Ace Ventura. That Jim Carrey goofiness. Cable Guy, I think I watched it later, like when I was in high school, and I remember being a little like, this one's weird. It's like dark, you know? I'm like, this is not quite... Jim Carrey's funny, but it's a little weird. As an adult watching it again, me and Christy watched it. We were laughing. We were both like complimenting the movie. We were like, damn, this is like better than it should be. I was like, what happened at the box office? Because I was like, there's parts of it where you're like, the cinematography's really good. The soundtrack is banging. Nothing but love for me on this one, boys.
Sterling, you've never seen it. What'd you think?
Oh boy.
Well, boys, I think I'm gonna turn heel this week because
oh my god.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I did enjoy parts of it. I'm not gonna say I didn't laugh at all. There were parts I did laugh, but I just thought it was a so-so comedy, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. We can get more into detail about that, but that's just kind of overall what I thought. It was kind of, take it or leave it.
Is it? I just gotta say, it's funny. Sterling's like, I'm gonna turn heel, boys, and then he's like, it was okay. I love this.
Let's be honest. That's.
Well, I want to get into it. There are like a couple nitpicks, but there's really only one thing in the movie that I don't like that much. But Trey, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah. Now that I think about it, there's a couple things I wanted to say throughout the review, so I have to try to remember it. But Sterling, I'm so not disappointed. But I would think that the first thing I just thought of this. I wasn't thinking of it going into this, but when you were saying what you were saying, like this popped into my mind, like. Sterling should be saying, this is the Casablanca of The Room. This is, compared to The Room, this is amazing. Like, this is actually good stuff coming out of it for a cult classic, you know? Like, The Room is just horrible, you know? But we watch it because it's bad. It's like a train wreck. This was like a train wreck where everybody survives and they're walking, hey, let's go to the bar, guys. This was such a miraculous movie. This is prime Jim Carrey. You know, his over antic, you know, like right before Truman Show or right during Truman Show, right before The Grinch, you know, he's doing the lisp I love. I mean, I don't know how to turn on a lisp, but he does it. But anyway, I just couldn't believe that's not the first thing to come out of your mouth. Like, this is a good version of this is a cult classic. This is like the Casablanca of a cult classic compared to The Room. Anyway, Sterling, I feel for you.
Well,
for you being heel and saying okay, I'm speechless.
Trey, can I ask you one clarification? When you say you're comparing it to The Room, you're saying train wreck. Is it because the movie flopped at the box office? You're saying, you know, are you saying like, well, the movie flopped, this is supposed to be like a bad movie, and then you watch it and you're like, holy fuck, this is really good. What the fuck's going on? That's what you mean?
Well, here's what I mean.
Oh shit, here we go.
Just kidding. It's not a train wreck. I mean, I was trying to be funny, obviously. But I watched this once before, like 10 years ago. I forgot I was telling Amanda, I'm like, this is a dark comedy. you're gonna love it. She likes Jim Carrey, and because he does his antics, the over dramatic stuff. I forgot how, like halfway through, I'm like, this is what I remember. This is what I remember. They go to the medieval times. Hilarious scene. I forgot how dark this movie gets. Like real dark, like sinister. Like he gets him fired, gets him arrested.
Yeah.
His girl. Like it's so dark.
Well, I was going to add to that. I think this is the thing about the movie. I think it's great. It's like it actually is scary a little bit. Not necessarily like you're afraid of the cable guy as far as like, him being a scary person. Like he's not like a monster in the sense of that kind of fear, but the idea of how he has all these connections and then the way I think you have all the Jim Carrey antics, but the undertone of it, like that kind of irrational fear of like, can someone ruin your life? I thought it was executed really well, like the way he turns the family against him, and like because I'm sure all you guys have met like sort of psychopaths in real life, not to this level, but you ever meet people who are a little like they really can play that game a little bit, where they can kind of like just lie or twist things around, manipulate. Oh, so I think part of why as an adult I appreciate it more is like you kind of know some people like that. This is like. Just like like a horror movie would play into your fear of like a shark or something like Jaws or whatever movies play into those things. To me, this is playing into the irrational fear of like, what if someone just started like infiltrating your life and then lying to everyone and made you seem like a bad person. And it's like, that's like a legitimate, like, to me, it was an interesting thing where you're like, oh, I'm actually a little anxious because this guy, like the idea of this happening to me is terrifying.
Well, I do think it succeeds on that front for sure, because that was definitely the part of the movie where I did not expect it to turn that way, and it definitely made me frustrated, and that's probably a good thing. That's a testament to the movie that I was definitely feeling for Matthew Broderick's character, and I was feeling very frustrated for him. But I don't know. Jim Carrey is great, but there are some things that maybe it's just kind of a taste thing. I don't know, but there were some things about his character that really got on my nerves, and it kind of took away from my overall enjoyment of this comedy. So
I could kind of see that. I'm not like, I think it is a taste thing to a degree where like part of the character being funny is that he's kind of annoying. But it is a fine line where if you're a little bit on one side of the line, it's more annoying than funny. I think it might have been the mood I was in, but me and Christy were just like ready, almost like it was perfect. Which part of why it was really good is I have a rant to go on in a minute. But anyway, Trey.
Well, I'll say this. Okay, I was obviously being overhyped. A little overboard on saying it, comparing it like it's a masterpiece compared to this, but I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I'll give you this, Sterling. Like, for me, it reminds me of when I first started watching The Office, where it was so hard to not turn the TV off or turn away or wince or do this, like, so cringy, the stuff that was happening. But and the first 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was. I'm like, because it's pretty kind of slow. You're just meeting the cable guy, and you're like, why? He's not that bad. He's just really friendly, and whatever. Like he makes dark jokes or whatever. But like I said, like right when the medieval, he has all these connections, and he gets them. He's like, because he's mad at Matthew Broderick for denying the gifts or something. I forgot at that point why he was mad at him, and he made him come out with him. He's like, we're gonna settle this out there, and they get picked. And Andy Dixon. There's so many good little cameos.
I'm glad you noticed that. I did too. There's a lot of people in this movie, like different little parts. Bob Odenkirk was in it for like a tiny little part.
Yeah, it says 2 words.
Yeah, Babo.
Tenacious
I
D.
was
Tenacious D.
yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised that Ben Stiller directed this.
Oh yeah, yeah, Ben Stiller. Like I when the credits started, I'm like, oh, this is Ben Stiller, and then I love how he inserts himself as another dark part of it where he's a twin and he comes in every once in a while. But anyway, this movie ramps up, and it is hard because you're like, why doesn't this character do this to negate that? Because Matthew Broderick's always doing the wrong. He's reacting the wrong way, near the end.
Yeah,
like, when he should have at the dinner scene he could have obviously done something way different. Like, all right, this and this and this. This is why this is what's happening to me. He did this. He did, but it's for the movie, But where this movie does not get a pass is when Jack Black finds out his identity, or not his identity, but he's been fired at all this time. Like, I'm pulling my hair out. Like, go take Jack Black, the character, and go tell everybody. Here's the proof. I'm not crazy.
Well, wait a minute. Hold your horses right just there, okay?
I was almost done, but yeah.
Sorry.
That was it.
Okay. No, well, I was just gonna say, doesn't Jack Black find out all that stuff right before the climax of the movie? Right before he takes the girl? How much? He wouldn't have that much time. Am I wrong about this? Doesn't he find out? Doesn't he get the call?
You're probably right.
And then
he goes right.
And
over.
he does call the police, I think, too, because they all show up. But I could be wrong. There could be more time in between.
I think maybe in the moment I'm like yelling at the TV, "Go get somebody! Go tell somebody! You're not crazy."
Yeah, I'm with you though. I think the frustration is there.
Well, the frustration for me is, in addition to that, was the relationship between Matthew Broderick and the girl. Forget that. I couldn't care less about that relationship. Well, for one, because I was mad at her character. I was mad at her character because, I mean, first of all, you kick him out after he proposes to you.
Yeah, what get lost, nerd.
And you're not broken up.
Yeah. And then, 2, the way she just immediately takes the cable guy's side over everything Matthew's trying to tell her, trying to tell his family. It's just it was too frustrating for me, and it's like,
I'm sick of doing these Film Schmuck reviews where either I hate the movie or love the movie at the beginning, and then throughout the review you guys start either pulling out this is why the movie's good, and I'm like, shit, that's a good point, or you ruin the movie for me. Sterling, you're absolutely right. Wait. The girl. Here's the thing too, because there is a couple parts. Like I said, there's a couple nitpicks. It was a little unclear what the situation was with the girl. She's out banging Owen Wilson at the fucking dinner table, right? But then on the other hand, I'm just saying she's dating. Okay, I'm just saying she's out there dating, and Owen Wilson's trying to bang. Let's be real. He's trying to hook it up, dude.
But let me mention real quick. Let me mention that real quick. The bathroom scene between Jim Carrey and Owen Wilson. It was such a conflicting scene because I was laughing, but the way it was happening was actually kind of disturbing, especially when he puts his mouth on the dryer. I thought he was gonna murder him.
I thought he was too. I thought he was gonna kill him or something. What is
happening?
Well, and the way the outfit, the mustache he wore and stuff, he looked like what's the name of the singer of Queen?
Sonic.
Oh, Sonic.
Freddie Mercury.
He looked like Freddie Mercury to me. Yeah, but he had the weird women's glasses, the big glasses. Yeah, that was bizarre. Yeah. But I was just gonna say that the thing with the Owen Wilson is whenever the other psychopath thing he did that you could almost predict Dick because of how he was acting was when he has Matthew Broderick bang the hooker, but he just thinks he's hooking up with the girl. What I didn't get was before he knows it's a hooker, he's like, I think she really liked me. This is going pretty well. But then when it is a hooker, he's like, what's the girl's name? I can't remember her name, but he's like Robin.
Oh, his girlfriend.
Something like that. Yeah. He's like, you remember the hooker, I see. But You're like, it's Heather. I looked her up on IMDb. If you want the info, I got it. But he's kind of like, she'll kill me, and it's like, I guess he just means she'll kill me because I hooked up with a prostitute. But at that point, he's acting like if she knows that I had sex with another woman, I'm dead. But it's like, but she was gonna have sex with Owen Wilson. Like, what exactly is the relationship? Are they together? Are they broken up? Are they like just separated? Like, I don't understand.
Also, it was fucked up. It was fucked up the fact that they just had a date, right? They watched Sleepless in Seattle. Oh, everything's great. And then he calls her. Oh, I'm going on a date. I'm going on a date. Like,
hey,
are you kidding me? Like,
hurt people. You know. All right, cut that out.
He wasn't sleeping with a hooker. He didn't sleep with Owen Wilson. He slept with somebody.
I get that,
dude. If he wasn't blowing the dang hairdryer, she would have been blowing him. Trust me on that, my friend.
Hey, they were on a break, Trey. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay, we get it. We all watched Friends in the fucking
say
90s. All right, it's 2021.
Before we get Matt on his rant, I cannot wait. I do need to mention this. That you said something about are they engaged or whatever, and he slept with a hooker. I just watched the Seinfeld episode where, anyway, at the end of the episode, George and his fiance are sitting in their bed, and the rabbi is on television explaining Elaine's story, how she hates that George is getting married, and how George said, "Is it right if I sleep with a hooker before I get married?" They're just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
dude, the seasons with George's wife. I know we're on a detour here, but when he's like the girlfriend, and then them getting married, and the fact that he doesn't want to be in that relationship. Some of those episodes are some of the funniest things. So some of the funniest episodes.
Elaine said George asked her if it would be okay if he slept with a hooker because, hey, how would she find out? I just thought it was hilarious that I watched that. I watched it right after I watched
the guy. Yeah, that by the way, okay, you may agree, you may disagree. I think that Ben Stiller's directing this movie was really good. I actually think that the style of the movie I liked. Now, I think that this could be hit or miss with people. There's probably only one miss with me as far as the directing style and stuff, but like the scene where they're singing and he starts singing that song and it's doing that weird like editing between the things, I could see that being a scene that people hated or whatever. For me, I was like, I actually thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of scenes in the movie that were like, could have gone either way, but to me, they landed really well. I thought that when they played basketball and he breaks the hoop and it's in that weird slow motion, it was almost like using comedy in this weird artful way that was like really weird. Like when he's just really slowly breaking the hoop, which by the way, that scene is kind of insane, kind of hilarious and insane. But whenever the guy gets injured, on the ground in the basketball court, and he's like, oh, like he tore something, and then Jim Carrey walks in. Did you notice that everyone just kind of forgot about the guy who was injured? They're like, well, we got another player, let's start another game. I'm like, if the dude can't walk, like, is anyone gonna help this guy? It's like, you got to get your basketball game, hospital. But anyway, I'm just saying, the editing and stuff, to me, I kind of liked it. It was very 90s. And a lot of times I'm like, oof, that 90s editing. But this was one where I was like, I kind of liked it. Other than the dream sequence, I thought that was a little weird.
I was going to just say it was very 90s. And it obviously was 96. But I walked away there, as you noticed, because I thought you were insinuating, you were building up to shit on that scene. No. I thought that scene, I think you could put that scene against any scene in any classic movie. I think that scene is the bee's knees.
The basketball scene?
No, the music scene.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
Laughing from beginning to end.
Yeah,
I love that scene. It's the best scene in the movie.
Well, I think that scene and the basketball scene, stuff like that. But I think the party scene. I think what Paul Thomas Anderson is trying to do in The Master Ben Stiller is doing in this movie, like with a comedy edge. Like that's what like where I'm like, damn, this is good filmmaking. I'm slightly joking, but I'm also slightly not.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
That is hysterical. Oh my gosh. I sing with that scene. I love the song is great.
His
I
weird
bet the money he improved most of that, if not all of it. Having the random old people in it, and the cop, like it's so good.
The old guy singing at the
that
beginning.
Prostitute.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing I think we need to address is like the Jim Carrey thing. I think part of why I enjoyed this movie so much is, like I said, it was almost like watching a new Jim Carrey movie from the 90s that I haven't seen. Because like I said, I saw it once, I don't really remember it. If I put in Ace Ventura, I remember every joke. If I put in Dumb and Dumber, you know it from beginning to end. But I'm watching Jim Carrey in his prime, like he said. It's like I'm watching Jim Carrey in his prime, but it's a new movie I haven't seen, you know? So to me, part of what is Jim Carrey is so, whatever you think about him, he's just like a master of physical comedy, of like he's just like every fiber in his being is funny. And so the movie, there were parts where I was just like I wish I could remember what he said, but there's a part when he's at the dinner where Matthew Broderick and the girlfriend show up and he's there already. He says something to Matthew Broderick where randomly he raised his voice really high, and it just made me laugh just because I was like, that was such a weird choice to like almost yell. I can't remember what he said, but I was like, that's what I think. I can understand the character being annoying. To me, it was like, oh, I needed some Jim Carrey, 90s Jim Carrey in my life. And in this movie, everything he says, like every little scene is so funny that it just hit the mark for me. I'm getting hard just thinking about it right now.
Sterling, what do you think about those scenes? Did they catch you the same way they caught us?
I mean, the basketball scene, I actually did laugh quite a bit. And the party scene, I would say it was good overall. Although I was kind of like, whenever they were cutting back to the prostitute, like just like putting her hands all over his face, yeah, and just, you know, he's into it and all that. It was like, okay, it was a little too long. That's the only criticism I have of that scene. I thought it was a little too long.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. But
And that's the bottom line.
well, okay, another thing I wanted to mention is that the parents and just the family, the way they were able to accept the cable guy so easily, even though he's raunchy. They don't just play. They don't just play password. They play pornographic password. Yeah, like I couldn't believe that was an acceptable game. An acceptable family game was to play pornographic password. So.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Here's my defense of some of the stuff like that, because there's actually a lot of different parts of the movie where it's almost surreal. The movie, to me, had almost a dreamlike quality in the sense that, like, the way people act in it sometimes and the way Jim Carrey acted and the people and stuff felt very, like, surreal and like off, just slightly off. And to me, it added to the creepiness of the character, was that you kind of felt like you were having a bad dream. Like and the sequence of the family to me sounded like a nightmare someone could have. So I kind of looked at it like, in a lot of it, like what I was mentioning in the basketball scene, when he breaks the glass, it's so dramatic and crazy and it's slow motion, and the way the guys are just like, well, thanks for inviting your friend, bozo, and they leave. But the whole thing's weird. The friend's injured, but it seems too intentional to me to just be like, oh, this is just really zany and funny, and, you know, who cares? It's absurd. A lot of the absurd stuff to me felt, and I know I'm probably digging too deep on this to defend it, but it almost seemed like they were trying to go for like a surreal, nightmarish thing. Like it feels like Matthew Broderick is slowly slipping into a nightmare. And that's what adds to it a little bit to me. So, but I also get just I
think that's fair.
Well, but also I relate to what you're saying on like a 1-to-1, like just on like face value. I do think there's times where you're like, why, like no one understands why Matthew Broderick would be uncomfortable. They've never met this guy before, like an hour ago, and they're completely siding with him over their son. It is a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear this rant.
I'm gonna save the rant till the end because I think it's so unrelated that I'm afraid it'll derail the whole thing. But I will say this: I'll tell you the one thing in the movie. You know, you've seen me defend this movie. You see me crack a sweat when Sterling started criticizing the movie. You know, but I will say here's the part of the movie I didn't like. I don't really like the ending of the movie. I think that it's.
Oh yeah.
I think that the ending. I actually like the undertone through line of the killer and how everyone's obsessed. Because I was like, how's this sweet killer thing? How's that going to pay off? Like, what's the point of that? They keep showing it. I think the idea of him, and then I think the subtlety of we figure out he's a psychopath because of the flashback sequence with the mom, where he was basically the TV raised him. And I actually like the poetic nature of he destroys the satellite and everyone realizes like, you know, and it's this thing where for a minute he's like, I got to kill the babysitter or whatever. That's kind of okay. What I don't like is it feels a little too Hollywood movie, the ending of him chasing him up the thing and I got to save the girl. And it was like, I don't know, it was a little like too dramatic, like a little too much. And I also just didn't like that it was too on the nose when Jim Carrey is like, Mama, well, you left me and I was raised by the television. It's like, that was fine as subtle subtext. We already got that. You don't have to you don't have to say to the viewer, you're stupid. Here's what's happening. I didn't like that really. It was a little weird. The damsel in distress. Yeah.
Hang in there.
Yeah, it was a little big. It was too big. It's not awful. It's okay. And the reason why I say it's okay is because I have me and Christy were talking about it. I was like, I don't exactly know what could have replaced it. So that's why it's like I can't criticize it too hard because I'm like, and we even had a little fan theory. This is my own fan theory. I think that this movie, high concept, really good concept. I wonder if Ben Stiller didn't actually know how to end the movie. When Jim Carrey is at the top, Matthew Broderick goes, why are we up here? Like, what are we doing? How is this going to end? And Jim Carrey goes, I'm kind of just winging it. And I have a feeling that Ben Stiller was like writing it going like, shit, I don't know how to end this movie. Because that's what it feels like. And it almost feels like that's like almost a nod to that. But I have to say, despite all of this, even though we talk about jokes undercutting things in movies, I laugh my balls off when the TV turns off and Kyle Gass from Kyle Gass, he's the guy from Tenacious D, picks up the book and like it's so slapsticky when the TV shuts off and he just instantly turns and picks up a book and starts reading. Like you're looking at me like I'm a dumbass. You know what scene I'm talking about?
I do.
Pretty funny.
I thought, I did think that was funny.
I thought you were talking about the actual ending, because I love the ending
where he implies like, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing to the pilot.
You think we're buddies?
Yeah, I think it's okay because it's part of the ending. I do think it's funny, but I'm like, man, there was a point in this movie where I was like, damn, this might be one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. This is great. And then the ending to me, I was like, it just like didn't quite do it for me. I was like, they should find some way to stay in the more psychosis cerebral thing instead of making it a huge thing. I don't know.
I actually, because I've seen it, but I actually forgot if he died or not because I'm like,
me too.
What the hell? And he should have died. Like, even if he landed there, his back's broken and neck snapped. Like,
yeah. So it also didn't make sense though. The one thing with Matthew Broderick was what didn't make sense is the guy is a psychopath who got him fired, is messing up his relationships, And let's keep in mind that to Matthew Broderick's knowledge, he had sex with his girlfriend too, because he spies on the girl and sees the birthmark, but he makes it seem like to Matthew Broderick that he banged her, and Matthew Broderick doesn't know that didn't happen. But at the end, he's smiling. He's like, I understand why he saved him. He didn't want the guy to kill himself. I get that. But at the end, he's smiling. He's like, what's your name anyway? Like, we're fine now. You almost killed yourself. You did all these horrible things to me, and you just about killed me and my girlfriend. And now all of a sudden I'm smiling, and I'm like, what's going on with you, bud? What's your real name? The Ricky Ricardo was funny. Christy said she didn't like it because she wanted a little bit of character development. Not the joke. I just mean she wanted a little bit of character development where maybe the character learned a little bit, which is fair. But I did like when he's like almost dead and he does the Ricky Ricardo laugh. That was funny.
Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah. Lucy.
She's right though. Yeah. I love how they do that, like a different type of music, but it's the same kind of Lucy in the background. But she's right though. I wish the joke stayed, but after he's done laughing, he actually says his name.
Yeah.
Because I thought he insinuates like he's gonna tell him, "I'm just kidding," and then he would have said it. But
I thought so too. Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah. So she was right there.
I'll just say, Matt, the way you explained the whole ending is part of the reason why I thought this was just a middle of the road comedy. So
he's using my own words against me.
That you had.
Son of a bitch.
No, I'm just saying, like, it was just weird the way they were all being friendly with each other. Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey, I don't think you should be friendly with him. That's just my opinion.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and honestly, this movie could have ended like in a court case, and I think that would have been more interesting if there was like a court case between the two of them.
That would have been cool.
And and then like Jim Carrey finds a way to manipulate like the jury or whatever.
That would have been interesting.
And then,
I can see it now. That how it ended, like it stopped from hearing the verdict of the other one. Like there was like a replay of it, but people that didn't see it, that live at home, it cuts away from them showing the actual ending again, and it goes to their court case, and it just shows them in the courtroom on a TV, and that could have put them in the ending too.
Oh, that's great, dude! You guys just comboed that shit. That's actually, I was like, court case, okay, that's pretty good. And then that buttoning it up where everyone just is obsessed again, but with their court case. That's a great idea. Yeah. Here's what I think. Here's my off-the-cuff idea. Because I've been trying to think about it today. I'm like, this is why I said I couldn't be too hard on the ending. Because I'm like, I actually don't know if you could do better as far as how do you end it. I think, what if the ending, it wasn't a big thing at the dish. It could just be him back in the apartment. And what if Matthew Broderick turned the tables? What if Matthew Broderick started acting like a psycho toward the cable guy, and made him freak out? And then what if the very ending? I'm okay to just rip it straight from the Joker, baby. What if he's in an insane asylum, the cable guy? You know what I'm saying? And we just see a slow-mo run with some sweet 90s tunes playing while he tries to escape or something, or like a little nod where what about this? So Matthew Broderick flips it around on him, right? So he tricks the cable guy into coming back to his apartment, and then Matthew Broderick is like doing some crazy psycho word games that freaks the guy out. And then he gets the cable guy to admit all the stuff or something. And then maybe the cops are there, or maybe Jack Black records it or something like that. So then they lock the cable guy up. He's in an insane asylum. And then the very ending could be him like saying something like he's making friends with the guard or something, and they imply that he's gonna like manipulate, or what if he goes he asks the guard like, you got cable or something like that, and the guy's like he just to imply that he's gonna get out because he's gonna use his connections, or something. But
if I slip a 50, do I get the porno channels?
Yeah, exactly. You know what, cut my answer out because your guys' was way too good. Cut mine out.
I'm gonna say this. I love that. I was actually thinking that in the movie. I'm like, why doesn't he just flip it? Like, why doesn't he like do reverse psychology, do exactly what he's doing to him? And I was thinking that because I'm like trying to remember the endings. Like, rarely, like most times you remember movies while you watch. Like, oh, that's how it ended. But I literally forgot how the last 20 minutes were. I'm like, just flip it on. I'm like, doesn't he flip it? Like, I was trying to rack my brain. Like, how does he flip it on him? How does he win? So I like your idea too.
Maybe you could combine it because I think that part is good. Maybe we could find a way of like of the three of them where you combine all the ideas. So what if he does the reverse psychology and he tricks the guy, and then it's in the end it's them in a court case seeing whether the guy's going to be found guilty or whatever, and then that shows the TV on the TV.
Yeah. I love that.
And then hell, throw in the insane asylum thing as a post credits. Let's marvel this shit up. You know what I mean? Let's do it, baby.
This movie.
The cable guy will return in Avengers 4, something like that.
The lisp will return.
I love it when he punched him and his lisp was gone, and then he punches him again.
I was just gonna say that. I love that. Like they were teasing it the whole time. Like he was like, "My brother's a speech therapist. Here's this about the lisp," and he punches him. He's like, "What is going on? Wham!" That sucks.
I mean, that's old school. That's good. You know what I like about Jim Carrey too is like the character he play. Like, you know what one of my favorite parts is when they're in the car and he's like, it made me laugh so hard for some reason was when he made the joke about like I better be careful, I've been drinking or something like that. But then there's a part where he just goes, I can't even do it the way he says it, but when he goes, that's my humor. Or whatever, like, that's just my humor. And, like, he does that, like, goofy, like, where he's just like, I'm just joshing with you. And he keeps doing that. The tone of it's so good. And when he does that weird smile, I posted the gif of it in the chat, but when he does that little, like, smile at him is so is so good. It's so creepy.
It's creepy as hell.
And he's such a good actor even in this because even though he's a goofy character, there's certain times where, like when he gives him the 30 seconds, or lose your lisp in 30 days or whatever it is, the thing. Like, it looks so convincing, him, like, starting to tear up, like it means so much to him. But also, I we're talking about Jim Carrey so much. Matthew Broderick, I want to see him in more stuff because I think, like, he plays a great straight man in this movie. Don't say it.
What? One of the biggest mysteries is, I think this was one of his attempts to make it come back, because obviously Ferris Bueller Day Off in '84 or whenever it came out. So good. Classic, obviously. And this was like 10, 12 years later. I'm not sure how it was raved about or critics or whatever said about it, so maybe it wasn't that well received. And then he did the producers with, oh gosh, I forgot the other guy's name. But they remade.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. I've actually never seen the remake.
It's so funny. The other guy, the guy that plays Timon in The Lion King, the guy that voices him, he's the. Anyway, so I should know his name, but he's a really good character actor. He was in the Mouse Hunt.
That guy. Yeah, that guy. I don't know his name. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's good. Then I haven't seen it, but he did an Eddie Murphy movie, and maybe Ben Stiller was in it. The heist, the Tower Heist.
Oh yeah, I did see that one. I did see that one. I actually thought that was pretty good. Yeah.
So I still need to watch that, but he just never stuck after that. Like he's tried.
Maybe he was interested in other shit. I mean, does he produce or anything like that? I wonder what he does.
I don't know. He's such, like you said, a really good straight man. Like.
Yeah, like, there's something about him. I mean, I'm a big Ferris Bueller fan, and I think there's something about the way he talks in his delivery. He's very unique. You can't put your finger on. That's why I think he's underutilized in Hollywood. I'm like, put this dude in some more movies. I'd see it, but maybe it was him. Maybe it's his choice. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had tons of offers for stuff over the years, so he probably is just picky.
What did you think I was going to say, Matt? You were thinking I was.
I thought you were going to say I thought you were going to be like he was the low point of this movie or something like that. I don't know why.
Sterling, what do you think about all this?
I think this movie sucks now after we've been talking about it. Matthew Broderick was not the weak link of this movie. That goes to his girlfriend for sure.
Judd,
But
Judd Apatow's wife,
he,
who also
yeah.
he produced this movie actually. Anderson.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, I think he did his. What?
What did he say?
They show her tits in a movie recently, last 10 years. Maybe it was 40-Year-Old Virgin. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm just gonna have to Google that. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
Leslie Mann, baby.
Woo!
Anyway.
He's doing it right now. Leslie Mann. Sorry,
I'm
Sterling. No, you're not. What do you think about
Yeah.
why did Matthew Broderick not make it? What's going on with that guy?
I really don't have an opinion on that. I have no idea.
I think
I've never
he's
followed
doing his
career.
own thing. He's doing other stuff. He's
You
in
like Matthew
he's
Broderick?
really
Probably.
doesn't he own a baseball team or something? I mean, come on now. He was on
I'm
a
not
comedians
sure.
and cars getting coffee episode.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ.
Uh,
Did you like Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
yeah, I like Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
I just didn't think he. I guess the only criticism I have of his character is, it's just not as memorable as like Ferris Bueller. Like I don't know. Like it's not as memorable of a character. Like he does a good job playing the straight guy, but it's I don't know. It wasn't like the best I've seen him.
It was the
So-
90s, baby. Come
I
on.
can't believe it. He's the voice in Lion King, the Simba. I can't
That's
believe I
that's
forgot
what I
that.
was gonna say. I knew he did some voice acting.
Yeah.
I just saw that actually recently because I was trying to tell Christy, I was like, JTT, baby. I keep talking about Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I mention him all the time. I'm like, I'll be home for Christmas. You know, the child actor. He played Simba as a kid, and then I saw that Matthew Broderick was Simba as an adult. But
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. He's been doing little things here and there.
I know he's married to Sarah Jessica Parker, so maybe he's just getting that Sex in the City money and kicking it old school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. He's not. Oh, he's in Manchester by the Sea. I haven't seen that, but I want to.
We need to watch that. You know, let's. Oh, can I just say how nice it was watching a movie that was an hour and 35 minutes? It felt like it was nice. I literally put it in this morning. Usually, if it's a Friday and we're watching a movie, like if I don't have to work like today, then we'll try to watch it by noon. We'll start watching the movie because Ezra gets out of school at 3. And so, but we started watching this at like, 9:30 or 10 or something like that. And then we were like, and then the movie was over and I was like, what times? I was expecting it to be 1 or 2 and it was like 11:30. I was like, holy shit, this is bizarre. This is weird.
I love how your barometer is. Man, I like that. How long this movie was. I only had to go get up and pee once.
That's exactly it. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
baby.
Let's
Okay.
get some nitpicks.
I'll just
Let's get some
Here-
nitpicks.
wait.
Before... Oh, go ahead.
okay. I just want to say one scene. Oh yeah, I get to talk. That's great. Anyway, the scene that I really liked that made me laugh the most was probably the prison meetup whenever he puts his nipple on the glass.
Oh.
That was really good.
Yeah, that
This
was
is the guy.
really
This
funny.
is the guy. Hey, John, how's
Yeah.
the kid?
That was good. That was good. Yeah, that was great. That was really funny. I'm trying to think of what the funniest
I actually don't like that scene, but that's just me.
little nip on the glass. I
Yeah,
don't.
like that.
I don't really have any nitpicks. I mean, I know I try to get I think we kind of. I already probably talked about anything that was. There wasn't any little. That's why I liked the movie a lot. I think it was like there wasn't anything that really took me out of it. It was very enjoyable, but I don't know.
Nip tuck.
Yeah, nip tuck, baby.
What's this rant, Matt?
It isn't about the movie.
Go on.
No,
let's
I don't
hear it.
care.
All right, I'll
You wanted to go.
fine. I'll go.
Brad.
Fine, I'll say it. Okay. Part of
You
why
wanna
this.
do it on the
Part of
podcast?
why. No, it's fine. Part of why this. It's unrelated, so that's why I didn't want to. Part of why I enjoyed Cable Guy so much was because last night. Sometimes I'll try to find random movies. I like to watch a movie before I go to bed. I try not to make it like a lot of times it'll be like a 60s or 70s movie, something like that, maybe something black and white, something to kind of get me drowsy, get me to sleep, but nothing that I'm going to be laser focused on. So there's a movie I've heard about I know the name of for a while called The Witches of Eastwick, and I see it on HBO Max. It's got Jack Nicholson, and then it's Michelle Pfeiffer, Susan Sarandon, and Cher, and they're all like these, hot young little fillies. And I put this movie on. Christy's watching it with me. I'm just putting something on. I'm very intrigued at first. I thought this was going to be a family comedy about some witches causing some hijinks and Jack Nicholson being a goof,
It's a poontang.
This movie was so bad, it upset me. It put me in a bad mood. Yeah, and I went to bed angry. And because I know exactly. I started watching this movie. I can't explain to you what the fuck. Every once in a while we do a film schmucks where I'm like, I don't understand why this movie is well regarded. Witches of Eastwick. I don't know who this movie is for. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what's going on here. The movie has 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was nominated for 2 Oscars. It is garbage. Here's the thing. Let me be fair. I only watched half of it.
Looking it up.
Jack Nicholson. Okay, like I can't even explain to you the plot. There's these 3 women. They're not witches. Let me just get that out of the way. Okay, so check out of the movie right now if you're interested. There's these 3 women. Okay,
wait. This is from 1987.
Yeah,
correct.
1987, Witches of Eastwick, okay. Jack Nicholson, Susan Sarandon, Cher, and Michelle Pfeiffer. All right, these 3 gals. They're just basically these 3 bitches that hang out and drink wine. All right, cut that out. I don't mean that misogynistically. I just mean cut that part out. All right, but there's these 3 women who sit around drinking wine. All right, and they're like, man, I wish we had a guy who had a big dick, basically. I mean, I'm not even kidding. They literally say, I wish we had a guy who had a big schlong and it was a dick or something like that. So then, anyway, I'm like, what's going on? Are they witches? I don't get it. So then a big storm happens in the town, right? All of a sudden, Jack Nicholson shows up. He's this rich guy. He starts one by one fucking these girls. and every time, once he bangs them, they like are really into him and they hang out at his castle. So then they're playing tennis, they're just playing some tennis, and all of a sudden they throw the ball up and the tennis ball just starts hovering in the air. And you would think at this point in the movie that these girls would be like, what? I think this guy's a wizard or something. What's going on? There's magic happening. They just go, well, that's weird. And then they keep playing tennis. And the ball's floating around. The guy's got magical powers. I think he's supposed to be the devil. That's my interpretation. There's also this other character in the movie who's talking about how the devil is in the town or how Satan's taken over the world. And her husband's feeding her prison pudding or whatever in the hospital bed because she breaks her leg. This movie didn't make any sense. It wasn't even fun to watch. I like a movie that's crazy, I like a fun movie with some crazy shit going on. So I watched about half of this movie. It's 2 hours long. I watched an hour of this movie and I turned it off. And me and Christy, and I fumed about it. And I went to bed angry. I went to bed with like no hope. I mean,
he couldn't calm you down?
What?
She could not calm you down?
No. I wouldn't have it. I was like, don't fucking touch me.
She didn't
I just
give you a little kiss on the cheek?
No, it was causing marital issues, I think. Honestly, this movie could have possibly ruined a marriage because I was that upset about this movie. So I roll over and go to sleep mad.
She didn't agree with you though.
No, she agreed with me. She hated it.
Oh.
We were both like, what is this piece of shit movie?
That brought you guys closer together.
It did. I'm exaggerating. It was fine. I'm just saying that I was. But here's the thing: we put in Cable Guy today. We live, laugh, love, baby. We watched this movie, and it was such an. Even Christy said she's like, this is the opposite of watching Witches of Eastwick, where she didn't know what the movie was going to be about. Like she thought, just from the cover and stuff, she thought the cable guy was going to be like a mythical figure who like can go into the TV or something. That's what she said she thought it was. So she was like, this is actually, you know, so we both loved it and laughed. And that could be, I just want to go down as saying, Witches of Eastwick, I want someone to explain to me who the movie is for, who wants to watch this movie and what it's about. It is. There's a part. It is really bizarre. There's a part where Cher shows up because this guy Jack Nicholson has lunch, and then he's like, "Come in," and he goes, "This is my bedroom. Here's my bed," and then he just jumps on the bed and starts humping it, and he's like, "Let's do it." And she's like, "You really think I would come in here and make love to you?" And he's like, "I don't want to make love to you. I want to fuck you." And he starts humping the bed. And then she calls in, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to be canceled." I'm quoting the movie, but she says that she goes, "What are you, retarded?" That's literally what she says. She's like, "I find you she's like, "You're the most repulsive, gross man I've ever seen." He's literally sitting there on the bed, kind of humping it in a bathrobe, going, "Oh yeah." And then she ends up banging him because she's like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'll do it."
It's not really surprising he'd be in a movie like that, to be honest.
He's so crazy that he was the only redeeming part of it. That's the thing. His character was so funny that I was just like laughing my ass off. But
man, I think you need a career change.
What?
You get hot and bothered. You're all hot and bothered by this movie, and you hate it. You need to be in marketing because all I want to do when I get home tonight is put that movie on. Everything that I laughed at, I'm like, this isn't real. I want to witness this.
You know what? I would watch the whole movie. I would watch the full 1 hour movie if you guys watched it with me. But what?
This movie?
Yeah.
Eastwick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do a Film Schmucks live stream where we all three watch it. And you guys can see what I'm talking. Tell me if you can make heads or tails of the movie.
Can I ask, does it have TNA?
I didn't, weirdly enough, none of the three main characters. There could be. I don't remember any. Well, the main character, Cher, for some reason, her whole thing is that she sculpts these little dolls, and they're like really like obese women with big boobs, and she like crap. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, if I explain to you this movie, you'll think I'm just making it up. It's really bizarre.
Sounds like
it's really bizarre.
It sounds amazing.
So anyway, that's the rant. Witches of Eastwick. Oh my god! I thought it was going to be a family fun movie. I thought this was going to be like Double Trouble, Mary-Kate and Ashley Halloween movie. Okay, I did not expect this. I thought it was going to be Hocus Pocus 2 over here.
You got to look at the IMDb Parents Guide. Come on, you got to look that up.
That reminds me of when me and Sterling were roommates, and he had this weird obsession in college where he would look up the most disturbing movies of all time and then just read the Parents Guide of it. And a lot of times he would start doing it out loud to me because he knew it would make me like disturbed. So he would start going like, I can't even repeat some of the stuff, but he'd be looking at some of the movies and it'd be like, a woman, it'll be like Parents Guide. He'll be like, a woman is, taken into a room by 7 mobsters and, you can fill in the blank. And then it'll be like, and then they cut off the head of a child and lick it. It'd be like that kind of stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
Sterling, what's wrong with you?
I'm not showing him the clips. I'm just reading it out.
Yeah, but talk about a bedtime story. I'm trying to go to sleep. You're reading this shit to me. I'm having nightmares.
You kept listening. You kept listening.
I know. I gotta say, you actually sparked an interest in me of doing that. So,
here's the thing, though. It is kind of a valuable tool because if you want to watch a family movie, it is a good tool to see if there's like good, bad content.
No, it really is useful, and also sometimes it gives you an idea of what type of movie you're watching.
Yeah. Yep.
I need to even though there was something I was gonna say during this podcast about the cable guy. I need to start writing stuff down because they're like this. I'm never gonna forget this, and maybe I did mention it, but yes, this going back to the movie. Sorry. Sorry, we kind of went off.
I told you.
Yeah, I know.
All
Anyway,
right, back to the cable guy.
Get back to the cable guy. Like you like Matt said, it's only an hour and a half long. You fly through it. There's not a lot of filler. Then it's going from one scene to the next, moving the story along. I think I would watch this movie again. Like that's another barometer I kind of use too. Like there are movies that people like. There's some people that hate movies like How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. When I was younger, and I still can throw it on. I could probably throw that on once a week. I love Ron Howard's a great director. Obviously, I mean I could watch.
Howard?
I'm a weirdo. I love Employee of the Month with Dane Cook.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. I've almost picked that for a pick before. I used to love that.
Right.
That's a comfort movie for me, baby.
Yes. I could throw that movie on. So there's movies that I can throw
Dodgeball.
on.
You ever put that one on a... Woo!
Ask me what my favorite comedy of all time is.
What's your favorite comedy of all time?
Good fun.
Dodgeball.
Bingo,
Dodgeball.
baby. Bingo,
It's so good.
baby.
It's so good.
Talk about
Anyway.
Ben Stiller. I mean, the dude can't miss, except for all those movies where he missed. But man, I mean, the guy rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could see myself watching this every couple of years. Maybe not like those movies like every week, 2 times a year or whatever, but like every 2-3 years I can throw this on just to get that prime Jim Carrey. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I don't know what you guys think.
I agree with I think the movie, at first you're like, this movie does not drag its feet at all as far as getting into it. I noticed it because Christy had to go to the bathroom or something at the beginning real quick. We paused it for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but it was the scene where he first takes him to the satellite dish. That's only like 10 minutes into the movie. Like the whole start, it goes real quick at the beginning. This is a fun movie. If you like Jim Carrey being goofy, zany, if you like Jim Carrey acting funny, like if you find him really funny, you'll find this movie funny. I mean, it's unavoidable to an extent. Maybe you don't like the story or how it goes or frustrating, but it's worth a watch if you're a Jim Carrey fan. I wouldn't say, I don't know if underrated. People probably say that too much, but I think it's a good one. I think it's a good Jim Carrey movie.
I think there are parts of this movie that are funny, and there are parts of it that are annoying and grating for me personally, and that took quite a bit of enjoyment overall from the experience. But again, Jim Carrey is entertaining, and there's a pretty good dynamic between Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey, and pretty good chemistry overall. But yeah, I've seen better Jim Carrey movies, so I think
If this is Sterling being heel, which is, I mean, I wouldn't, like Matt said earlier, I wouldn't consider this him being heel, but it's funny that I'm gonna turn heel. It's okay.
Well, that is heel though for Sterling, and I'll say this might be the only negative review. You should watch Witches of Eastwick if we really want to see this guy turn heel.
There's been other negative reviews. Tom and Jerry. I shit all over Tom and Jerry.
So. That's true.
We all did. That we all did. But no, Matt and fans, if you think this is heel for Matt or for Sterling, come back when we have a Rob Schneider-a-thon. Woo! It's gonna be glorious. I'm so mad.
Even the name, it's like saying Voldemort. It's like saying Voldemort in the Harry Potter universe to Sterling. When he hears Rob Schneider, he's like, "Don't say that."
Guys, I think I have something to do that week.
We didn't say what week. You son of a bitch.
Doesn't matter.
The heel it'll be the heel of all heels. You thought I was bad with There Will Be Blood and Unforgiven. Woo!
Episode 50, baby. It's coming up.
It used to be the fumes like a train out of those ears.
If I have to pay to rent any of these movies, I swear I need to be compensated. I need to be compensated.
Well, I'll buy you a
He's
copy.
giving a migraine.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Wrap
Anyway,
it up, wrap it down, and
yeah, I mean,
slap my dick up
I'm
and
sorry,
down.
guys. Like Matt said, you like Jim Carrey. We bet money you enjoy this movie in some capacity. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on this ride of laughter and fun and maybe a little sadness from Sterling. I don't know what his deal was today. Anyway, I digress. Join us next time on the Film Schmucks. Comment below, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.
Cut it.